Very awkward bridge with a 3-ball that close. And you can see so difficult that he could not make a good hit, and Allenton gets ball in hand. So Tan's getting a couple of rolls going his way here, and that's what he needs, is for momentum to get on his side of the table.
Foul shot.
Well, it's all about one good positional shot now to the 2.
The rest of the table pretty open.
Couldn't have played that much better. Ideal angle now to just roll through and drop onto the 3 next.
After the 3-ball, there's nothing even left on a rail. Everything out wide in the open. All he has to do is play position so that he has a little bit of an angle on each shot, so he can move that cue ball around freely. He's not going to be happy with that strike.
No, he's just not making his work as easy as it could have been.
If he plays this in the side pocket, he has to kill the speed on the cue ball. If he plays it in the corner, the cue ball goes away from the 6-ball.
No, he's really got to play this in the side, Jerry. And as you said, a lot of bottom. He's going to dig into that white, into a blind pocket. This is no formality, this shot.
Well, he's come through that, come through it well. But he does have to work on the consistency of his speed control. It can be difficult for snooker players to become comfortable with the speed of a heavier cue ball.
Well, that was another shot that well under hit. Again, should get it, but tougher than it needed to be.
Yeah, he's really stretching way out over the table. Very long bridge, which reduces your accuracy.
This has been a real adventure for Allenton, no questions.
Yeah, he's not making his work very easy. Relying on his shot making skills. Wing ball down, and the cue ball scratches into the side pocket. So, you know, again, all the luck is on Allenton's side. He's getting break after break.
No, you can't possibly legislate for, well, in fairness, Jerry, it wasn't kicked into the side pocket, the cue ball. That was a miss hit by Davis. All these players, they try and keep that white in the middle of the table, and Steve just drew that straight into the side pocket. And ball in hand, you can see the lay of the remaining 7 colors. You really can't expect Allenton to mess up from here.
Well, if he can work his way successfully through this rack, he'll be able to draw even with Davis.
Was a little careless. He's left this a lot straighter than you really wanted, because he's got to get that cue ball back over the other side of the table for the pink 4. You can see he's going to have to force it somewhat into the pocket now. With that angle, Jerry, you can just float these balls in and let these pockets play big.
Tan hasn't shown any difficulty in pocketing the balls. He just doesn't seem very comfortable at moving Whitey around.
I don't know whether or not that 6 passes the 9 into the corner. If it doesn't, he's got a little bit of work to do.
Has to avoid the side pocket.
Boy, he was flirting with danger there too.
Well, apparently he's planning that 6 ball does pass the 9. That given shape on the 8 fairly natural. There's a good shot from Alan Tan. Simple stop shot out from here. This will enable him to pull right back up with Steve, and we'll be embroiled in a race to 3.
Well, that cue ball was always heading towards that pocket. The way those balls are situated, I think he's going to be looking at a 3-2 deficit in a very short time. Tall buildings here in Taipei, and it was always going to be a tall order for Alan Tan in this match.
Well, you know, Jim, everybody knows you're supposed to hit 9-ball breaks hard, but you're also never supposed to hit them any harder than you can control the cue ball. It doesn't do any good to pop the rack open if the cue ball goes flying around the table and winds up in a hole or behind a group of balls. So he needs to take a little power off of that snapshot. And he's left a nice open table for Steve to work.
He's kept Steve in his chair the last 2 racks. When your cue arm starts to get a little cold from lack of use, isn't it nice when you can come to the table with cue ball in hand and all the colors nicely spread? Very similar to what you do on a practice table. That'll get you back in gear.
Well, apparently the 8-ball clears the 9. So Steve doesn't have to do too much work here. It's a lazy float on the cue ball. And he'll play both the 8 and the 9 in the same corner pocket. Davis with the win.
Rack 6. Steve Davis to break, leading by 3 racks to 2.
Shades of familiarity as far as Steve Davis fans are concerned. You see him pacing, not sitting down. I think he understands the importance of this match. Wing ball deposited. He's got half a chance at the 1 here. Not the easiest of shots that Steve could have been confronted with, but 2 balls made off the break, so he maintains control of the table.
6 and the 7-ball are down. Now the task is to pocket the 1, get shape on the 2. Pocketing balls never a problem for Steve Davis. Certainly one of the most accurate players in the world.
Well, Jerry, you said it earlier in the broadcast, coming from a 6x12 surface with smaller pockets, one would expect anything in the open to be deposited, but Steve's left himself with just a little bit of trouble here. He's got to get that cue ball between the 5 and the pocket bottom left to try and take it back up for the 3. You can see there's not a lot of room there. So this is going to be kind of a stun shot with a little trace of right-hand spin as he looks. Oh, beautifully played. Terrific shot.
Yes, the man has great imagination, great vision. He can see the path of the cue ball as well as anyone. And then his ability to make the cue ball follow that path. It's hard to match.
But it seems like his confidence has grown with each match and each day. Ominous signs for anyone that's going to be in his path. Has he overhit this? No, not at all. Only perfect.
Some of the fans enjoying our matchup tonight. Lots of right hand spin on the cue ball. Takes it 2 rails out to center table.
Doesn't worry too much about distance. Why should he?
Must decide whether to draw this ball into position or to let it follow down the table. Chooses the draw route and now winds up with a straight in 9 ball.
And the 9 disappears.
A much more controlled break off that time, but I don't think he's going to reap any rewards from it.
Well, Jerry may have a chance as we see the wing ball and the 1 right into the side pocket. Like it had eyes.
Yes, I believe he can see the 2. I had thought he was hidden from that.
So going to be a 2-8 combination. Just lining it up right now as though the 2 was the cue ball. And what you do in this instance is you pick a spot on the cushion that would be your imaginary pocket, and you're playing that 2 into that area of the table.
This shot's tougher than it looks, though. The 8 ball is a good distance away from the pocket, so he has to be very, very precise with his hit. This could easily go awry, and does. And there's a disappointed man. Davis now comes to the table without a big problem in front of him. And Tan knows that he gave this situation to Steve. It's like supplying the rope for your own hanging.
And this should put Steve into the comfort zone. He can secure these last remaining balls. That would give him 4 wins. Having a quick look at the group standings, those 4 wins would put him joint top of the table, tied with Ralph Souquet, and with 1 match in hand.
Nice gentle follow on the 6 ball, puts him in position for the 7. just needs to drag the cue ball over the left side of the table. Take the 8. This one's about to be in the books.
He was threatened only briefly in this match.